techniques. I see where one would stop and the other would start, but they don't have to be done always together. It would be nice if we had this in writing before, but we will eventually have that in writing, but it will be on the DVDs. The first one is Journey to the Aurora Continuum. When we go to the Aurora Continuum, that is where we're going to meet up with the Ajuna. And they finally showed me what they look like, because I wasn't sure what they looked like. And basically, they can look like anything they want, because they exist as conscious air. And to interact with beings that retain form, they choose to just take on a simple light being effect, where they're hominid. Well, I suppose if you look like an octopus, they'd probably make a light being octopus, that they just take on whatever, like the basic form of the persons they're interacting. And that assists in communication between, co-resonant communication factor. And they're really beautiful. They just look like, did you ever see those like pure white mannequins that some stores have, where they're just really graceful and they have just very simple features, right? It's mostly made of light, because they are made, I think they said they're made of the some type of hydrolase or something. But I finally got a glimpse or a feel of them, and they have a wonderful feel to them, these beings, and they're a very healing feel. They're a very different feel than the other ones we've met, but that's where we will meet them. And there's going to be a point in here where we do some neat stuff with our atoms first, and the spaces between them, which is really neat, because I used to have an experience of feeling like air blowing between the spaces between my atoms, and it was a very odd sensation. It was like getting less dense, and as if like gentle breeze was blowing in between my atoms and my cells. I've flipped into that state for no reason I could explain a few times in my life, and I'm starting to understand it a little bit better of what that's connected to. So this will take us through understanding that, and this is a process you can use. It's a type of breathing that once you get these spaces open, and for a while you'd have to reopen them, like do the whole process that goes through here, but a way of breathing that just really, really helps cleanse the atomic structure and the body, and helps expedite the natural processes of the Shalaya light units turning on, of your light quotient, raising. And it's very pleasant. It's also very healing, a very healing breathing technique that you can draw from this one. So that once we get into the Aurora Continuum, then when we meet our Ajuna, and that takes 13 steps. Then we're going to connect with our Ajuna, and we're both going to go into orbs, our own orbs, and then another one's going to come up and join us, and we're going to go into through this passage very, very quickly. They consider it a hyperspace leap, but we're going to go through as orbs, and you would be the lead orb, and then there would be two of them right behind you, kind of like flying in V formation, and you go in really quickly into into this place, which is the edons of the actuality dominions at the center. And once we get in there, we pop up, and we actually pop up in what feels like they described it as bobbing, as if you were like a ball on in water, like being held under, then kind of pop back up, and you still come up as orbs, but you come up through the water as orbs, and then you bring your body form back, and the body form you bring back is called the Jade body. So they're teaching us here, before we go, when we're playing with our atoms first, how to actually activate the Jade body. And this is the body that we can use for projection into anywhere we want to. We can learn to now, take it into full Jade body. I don't know, expansion or whatever. Jade body shifts you into the Aurora Continuum, and from there you can go just about any place. So it'll start with the ability to bilocate in that way, and then we'll progressively work toward being able to eventually bring the rest of the atomic structure with us and end up in these spaces. And that's where life will get really interesting, I'm sure. Oh boy, you can just see the amazing stories that could come if people start really soon having those experiences. We can't do that yet either, so I guess we're all in the same journey together here. Now, okay, I'll do my best to read my writing here, and I'm sure that I appreciate you staying awake as long as you have, bless you. And I know, I imagine you are tired. Okay, we kept this up on the board just so you could remember for a moment the center stylia codes. These guys, this one, by the way, is called the Imara, and its kind of code name is the elephant, because it kind of resembles an elephant. And the other one is the Shuyan, and it's known as the Flaming Rose. That's what they call it, the Flaming Rose. So they are two of the center codes that correspond to the Edonic territories of the actuality dominion. Inside of both this one goes with the round 1 set, and that one goes with the round 3 set. They haven't given that one yet because we don't need to go into round 2. Once we get into, after we get through this, we go into the second part of the technique, which was going to be technique 2. So that is once we pop up in Eden, and we in the Edon, then we go do certain things, and we get to this really neat place that in this exercise we use it for one particular thing, but we can use it for all sorts of projection experiences. We call it the room of chairs, or the seat of Edon, right? It's a really neat space, and they have taken me there once or twice, and I didn't know it was there, actually. They must have hosted me through or something, because these gates weren't particularly open for anybody to use. But I remember being there and saying, like, where is this? So, it's really cool here, and I learned a lot of things there. But I finally found out where it is. It's in the Edons, and I've gone there a couple of times for training in specialized stuff that it's like you get it in direct cognition, and then you come back and it kind of like downloads in pieces over time once you have it. So we'll be going in there, and that is where we will pick up the activation that is coming through from the Akasha A level down to run the this host, and we will anchor the rest of the host so we can make this shift, and it will initiate the shift. It will initiate not the shift, but it will initiate our connecting the net earth grids and our shield to the shift, so that we can make this probability leap with them, with the rest of the Christic worlds that are going through this in the host. So it's not a really long one. It's the first part's 13 steps, and the other, they just kind of gave me, they're not even steps, they're just kind of, here, go there, go there, go there, go there, and then do that, right? But we've got steps for the first part. So now, first part is Journey to the Aurora Continuum, and they just want you to, at a certain point, call to mind those symbols. You don't have to stare at them, just call to mind what they are and say, oh yeah, okay, they're there. And even if you can't remember exactly what they look like, you got the encryption by looking at them. Just kind of like inhale them a bit so they stick, optical pineal induction a bit on them. And now we can take it from there.